So UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Figueiredo has gone down, and it was overall a very interesting card. And as in interesting, I mean it was very, very bad. There was some very bad performances, some very bad fights. Overall, very mediocre card. Could possibly be the worst card of the year thus far, though. That's the word you got to add. So far, it's the worst fight night of the card so far. But anyway, let's break down some of the fights that went on. Juliana Miller versus Ivana Petrovic. Interesting fight. Juliana Miller ends up getting the win. I think you could maybe argue it for Ivana Petrovic based on damage, but I'm not gonna sit here and cry. It was a pretty bad fight. I got that prediction wrong too. I picked Ivana. Then we had Thomas Peterson versus Dontel Mays. I picked Dontel Mays. I fucking regret it. I don't know why I picked him. When I look back at him, he never had good takedown defense, and he showed it here. He got immediately mauled this fight. Thomas Peterson clearly wins, dominates him, 30-27. Dontel Mays had nothing. He trains with John Jones, but John Jones obviously just uses the guy as a punching bag. He's not obviously giving him any help at heavyweight, just a big body to throw around. Thomas Peterson wins. Then we had a fight I got right. It was an underdog. I was very happy with this prediction. I was very happy because I picked Kwang Lee to beat Gaston Bolanos, and he won. I was very happy with this because obviously I was going 0-2. I didn't want to start the card 0-3. Obviously, last week I didn't make my profits based off the UFC predictions racket channel, so I was very upset with that, obviously, because I pride myself with having some of the best predictions. Overall, this card didn't do the greatest, but I've got some very good underdogs, and this was one of them. Kwang Lee looked very good, moved forward with a lot of grappling. His striking he was letting his hands go a bit in the second round, and then he ended up getting the back and submitting Gaston. It was sort of domination by Kwang Lee, and this is what I've seen him as before he got, he lost his first two fights. I've seen this guy as very good, and he showed it. He beat Gaston Bolanos, who isn't like the greatest guy, but he's not bad. Like, the guy's put on some good performances. And yeah, I'm glad I got this fight right. Then we had Julian Robertson versus Marina Rodriguez. This is another really bad prediction of mine. I picked Marina Rodriguez because I thought she'd be able to keep it standing, or at least inflict some damage, but she was just pissed scared of getting taken down by Julian Robertson, which was understandable because she destroyed her when she got her down, but she obviously didn't get any respect from Gillian Robertson, my bad. But yeah, Marina Rodriguez loses and retires. Yeah, she may have added some cards, good on her, but I swear to God, if they give her like a fucking Legends Titantron next week, which they will, they did it for Jack Shaw, so I'm sure they will do it for Marina Rodriguez. Then we had Azamat Bekaev versus Ryan Loder. Knocks out Ryan Loder cold. This was a great performance. It's the start of the decline of American wrestling. He couldn't get anything done against Azamat. And Bekaev knocks him out. He was very, very, very impressive from Azamat. Bekaev defended the takedowns, dropped him one time, dropped him again, finished him. Very good prospect. I think Azamat Bekaev can actually, maybe make it to the rankings. Middleweight's such a weird division. I don't know what his ceiling is, but he's 20-3. That's like a very good record. Very powerful. Reminds me a lot of Azamat Murzakanov with his striking for his big shots. He's a wrestler as well, I believe. Somehow went to a split decision with Dylan Budker. I'm pretty sure it was a split. Clearly beat him though, but it's crazy. They signed Dylan Budker, who went on to go 0-4, but they only signed. Yeah, it's weird to me that they would sign Dylan Budker, who went 0-4 in the year with awful and Dynamite Contender Series, but they didn't think, why don't we sign this Azamat dude who actually knocked him out? Well, not knocked him out, who beat him. Just UFC's talent search is just awful, clearly. Then we have Yana Santos versus Miesha Tate. Everyone said this was very clear to Yana Santos, but I sort of thought you could argue the first round to Miesha Tate. I wasn't really paying too much attention. She was landing some big shots. Seemed like she did some damage, but they ended up giving it to Yana Santos, so I don't know. What do I know? Then we had Mason Jones versus Jeremy Stevens. Mason Jones looked very good. Got hit with some big shots, and then decided to wrestle the third round. Played a bit safe. It was smart. Like, if Jeremy Stevens is going to beat Mason Jones, it's going to be catching him with a big shot. I understand completely why he would do that. And yeah, it was a good fight. Like, I liked Mason Jones' approach. A lot of leg kicks. Kicking to the body is good because obviously Jeremy Stevens is known for having a bit of a leak liver. Like, his body shots. He's been very susceptible to body shots, and over the years, some people would say he's got a glass body because he got finished with a lot of body shots. He's been hurt in body shots a lot in his fights against Yair Rodriguez. He hurt him with a body shot. Jose Aldo, he finished him with a body shot. So it was very smart by Mason Jones. Had some very good boxing. His grappling looked great. He used a lot of it. He obviously used it as his path to victory in the third round. And he beat up Jeremy Stevens on the feet. Got a 30-27. I thought that was understandable. A lot of people gave the second round to Jeremy Stevens because he landed a big shot. But I don't think Mason Jones was really that hurt. He shot, yes, but he didn't really show too much visible damage from it. We did visible, yes, because he was cut. But I mean, he wasn't wobbling all over the place. Didn't get dropped. And then Mason Jones was sort of just styling on him in the second round. So I sort of understand giving the second to Mason Jones. But yeah, Mason Jones back in the UFC. I think that was a one-fight contract for Jeremy Stevens, so he's probably back and gone now. Probably go back to BKFC. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see him do this for a veteran of the sport, a UFC veteran who literally left the UFC, fought in PFL and all over the place, and then they actually just gave him this opportunity. It was really cool, to be honest. So I'm glad they did this. Maybe they could do this for Paul Felder if they ever go to Philly. Just let him fight. Let him have his last fight in front of his home crowd, and then he can retire. But who knows? Then we had Sahi Sadi versus Cameron Smotherman. Not the greatest fight. Sadi just sort of masterclassed him a little bit. I should emphasize not a proper masterclass as in it was super dominant, but just sort of beat him tit for tat, wrestled him a little bit, just beat him everywhere, but it wasn't a crazy performance. Didn't hurt Smotherman, who's sort of chinny, but he did beat him, and that's all that really matters when you think about it. Sadi gets the win over Smotherman, and I mean, Smotherman looked good considering he got knocked out on Dana White Contender Series a year or two ago and against a pretty bad guy. To have a semi-competitive fight with Sadi's impressive, but again, he did lose every round, so maybe I'm just being extra nice to him. Then we had Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. Montel Jackson gets the win. Very, very, very mediocre fight. This fight was awful. But Montel Jackson won. He just sort of wrestled him. Had some big shots in the second round, I think it was. Third round too. One with the grappling in the first. It was just awful. It was bad. Montel Jackson beats Daniel Marcos. Marcos loses his L. But real ones know he should have lost to Davey Grant anyway. So, yeah, technically he should be on a 2-fight losing streak. But anyway, I think his last fight was really close too, wasn't it? Oh no, I thought he beat Yanez, but still, Marcos gets the win, gets the loss on his record. Then we had Daniel Rodriguez versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. This was awful from Ponzinibbio. He's clearly washed. Not awful from him. It was an entertaining fight, but he's clearly washed. He can't take a shot anymore. Every time he got hurt, he was rocked. I think he actually rocked himself punching Rodriguez really hard at one point. He landed the best shot of the fight, of the fight so far, and he actually hurt himself. It was weird. I don't know. Maybe Rodriguez caught him with a sneaky shot, but he would get wobbled by every single shot that would land. Clearly his chin's gone. The first time he got rocked was literally because he slipped, got up very slowly, and got hit with a very, very not so powerful jab, and that seemed to really badly hurt him. I don't understand it. I really don't. But yeah, Rodriguez eventually catches him in the third round. Tag. He catches him when he's super, super gassed out. Ponzi's having a lot of success in the second round towards the end, gasses him out. Third round, D-Rod's looking really gassed, but in the second, he just kept shooting. In the first, he would keep trying to wrestle, and he wouldn't have much success. I think he got him down briefly in the second round at the end, but it seems like it would have done more damage to him, more gas him out. I don't know, he had D-Rod so gassed out. You should have just gone to the body a bit more. The leg kicks as well, he had him hurt so many times in the first round with the leg kicks and then just stopped going to them. I don't understand when fighters do that. You literally implemented that part of your game. The leg kicks are like one of the best parts of your game. And you stopped doing it. He obviously started doing it again in the second or third, like towards the end. But it was like too little too late. He gets caught, gets finished. And that's another KO loss for Santiago Ponzinibbio. He's been knocked out way too many times. It's unfortunate. He's washed. He's clearly washed at this point in his career, but still hope the best for Ponzi if he keeps fighting. But it's going to be hard to find him people who he can beat at this point. But I say that he beat Carlton Harris though, who beat Jeremiah Wells. So who fucking knows? Maybe Ponzi will just go on a win streak or something like that. But he's clearly washed. He can't take a shot like he used to, but he still can be in some fun fights. But this looked like two fat old men, like pudgy old fighters just slugging it out. I know it sounds really rough, but like just watch it. That's what it was. I'm a big fan of both guys, but it's just clearly they're both past a little bit. They're both veterans. But yeah, D-Rod wins. He calls out Jake Matthews. I'd love to see that fight. I think Jake Matthews would knock out D-Rod, but we'll see. Then moving on. Oh, this was the fight. This was the fight. Reina de Ridder versus Bo Nickal. This was amazing stuff. I predicted this. I don't know why people were so high on Bo Nickal for this fight. I really didn't understand it. Like, we've seen how he fought against Paul Craig. Obviously, he's very wary of the jiu-jitsu. And, like, Reina de Ridder is actually competent on the feet. He's very wonky on the feet, very unorthodox, very Dricus du Plessis-esque. And that should have been a reason why people should have picked him. It's middleweight. Like, if you fight like Dricus, you're going to win. And Reina de Ridder fights sort of similar to Dricus. Very unorthodox. Very good game plan, though. The knees, the body rips. I really like this game plan from Reina de Ridder. He's Dutch. The Dutch, we love our knees. And they clearly showed it. The knees were a fucking good part of the game, the body shots. And it just seemed like Bo Nickal can't take getting hit. Very Brock Lesnar-esque. Obviously, if you watch Brock Lesnar when he was in the UFC, he didn't like being hit. It's not that he had a bad chin or anything like that. He was so scared to get hit. It'd freak him out. He'd flinch very easily to shots. If he gets hit, he just didn't like it. And clearly, Bo Nickal didn't like getting punched in the face. Obviously, most people don't, but like, it was very obvious that he didn't like getting punched in the face as a fighter. Now, he's 7-0. I don't think he's going to retire. Like, maybe that would happen. Maybe he just completely loses all confidence and doesn't fight again. But I hope he does, because I think this fight will actually be very good for him long term. Because he's very young in his career. People forget he's only been fighting for like 3 years. He's only been training MMA for like 4 years, something like that. Like, the guy's a wrestler. Yes, that's a big part of his game, but he needs to work on the striking, and I think he needs to get a very big step down in competition. I'd love to see him versus Therese Finney. Maybe it's a big step up for Finney, but like, the UFC don't like Finney. Just give him to Bo Nickal. I think, who knows, maybe he will wrestle fuck Bo Nickal, and that'd be like the crazy. That would actually be a fraud check. If the wrestler and Bo Nickal got wrestle fucked by Finney, that would be a fraud check. But regardless, Bo Nickal, he can still be something. I'm not saying he'll be champion or anything like that, but I think Bo Nickal could honestly improve. He could definitely become something down the line. He's still very young. This fight was way too soon. I didn't understand the odds either. Don't know why the odds had him as such a big favorite. Such a big favorite. The Tapology odds aren't even doing it justice. I think he was paying like $4. Reina was paying like $4 in Australia. Crazy. I don't bet, but I really should have, because I picked Reina to win. And yeah, he came with a great game plan. It seemed like Bo didn't quit, but he was just the body shots. He didn't like getting hit to the body. He didn't like the shots to the head. And it was good. This was a good learning experience for Bo Nickal to have this fight now, before he gets like to the top 5, and it's like, you can't give him a step down. He's still going to be unranked, but I think he could eventually, get back to this position. But he's just going to need to take a step down. Give him some cans, if you will, not actual cans. Give him a big step down in competition. Let him work on his hands, his jiu-jitsu, and all that jazz. But yeah, Reina de Ridder, he calls out Strickland. Much rather him fight Israel Adesanya. I'd love to see that fight. I don't want to see Izzy versus Strickland too. That fight would be dog shit. Nobody wants to see that. It makes no sense. Izzy needs to take a step down. And Reina, like the rankings, and Reina Dorita needs to step up. I'd love to see it. Do it. The guy is a former one championship double champion. Like, just give him right to Izzy. Give him a right top five opponent. Izzy, I'd love to see that. Do that Fight Night Amsterdam, something like that. I don't know. Fight Night Auckland. Get him in New Zealand. Get him in the Netherlands. Get him somewhere in Europe. I don't care. Just do that fight. It would be awesome. And as a part Dutch person and a big RDR fan, I think he would beat Izzy at this point. And I'd love to see it. It'd be interesting as well because you beat Izzy, you're probably close to a title shot. I want to see RDR versus Drickus. I need to see that fight. I just need to see it. The unorthodox fucking technique between them, the weird grappling, the failed takedowns. It'd just be cinema. It would be an amazing fight. But yeah, either you do that, you do RDR versus Izzy, or you take it a bit slower and you give RDR to Roman Dolidze. I think he'd beat Dolidze as well, but you never know. I mean, he is 34 years old. He's not super young, but at middleweight, that's not super old either. And he's 20-2. I can't believe people are really counting him out this much against Bo Nickal. The experience enough is why this shouldn't have been such a big underdog. But I'm glad because it probably helped me immensely with my predictions, picking a big underdog like this. You know, not many people were picking RDR for some reason. But I just knew. I knew he'd win. It was clear to me. But anyway, awesome stuff for RDR. I'm very happy to see it. And Bo Nickal will be back. People are shitting on him and people are going to hate on him because he talked a lot. But that's what he's going to do. The guy believed in himself. And RDR is a tricky fight for your, fourth UFC fight? Who did he fight? He fought Jamie Pickett. I think he fought Val Woodburn. So fifth fight. This is his fifth fight because then he fought Cody Brundage, Paul Craig, and then he fought Reina Dorita. Like, that's a big step up. Like, yeah, Paul Craig is like a good jiu-jitsu fighter, but RDR is like well-rounded. His fight style, his striking style is very awkward and messy, but it works. He's powerful, long arms. It's just it's a difficult style matchup. He's not going to really have many guys like RDR in the middleweight division. So yeah, just let him build his skills up a little bit. Let him get like 2-3 wins, build his confidence back up, and then I'm sure he'll be in this position again. But yeah, anyway. Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo. This fight was very one-dimensional while it lasted. Corey Sandhagen just dominated Figgy. Figgy had nothing at all. At all. He got a takedown, did nothing with it. Didn't land any big strikes. I think he landed one shot on Sandhagen, like clean, and that was about it. And he just shook his head and said it didn't hurt. Maybe it did. That's normally what fighters do when it did hurt. But he wasn't like badly rocked or anything by it. And Figgy then just got beat up, kept going for heel hooks. Just so stupid. Such a stupid game plan. And he lost. Gets his knee torn out by Sandhagen, then Sandhagen just visually beats the shit out of him as he's like in pain from his knee popping. I hope that's not the last we see of Figgy because he is pretty old. He's like 37 at bantamweight. So that could honestly be the last. Like, an injury like that is crazy for a 37-year-old. But hopefully at least back has one more fight. Who knows? But yeah, shame for Figgy. But great performance by Sandhagen. He called for the winner of Moir versus O'Malley. I don't think he deserves that. But at the same time, who else really is there? Maybe they could do that fight. He's technically, he's never fought either Moir or O'Malley, so that would also be a pretty cool fight. So yeah, who knows what happens. But yeah, overall, good performance by Sandhagen. Just dominates him. So, that's what you want. Doesn't take any real damage. And yeah, it was a mid-card. Could have been better. Like, I can't really, there's not much else I can say about it. Some of these fights were pretty bad, but, still, it is what it is. Next week, JDM versus Bilal. Big times. Oh, my lord. That's a card I'm very excited for. Just the main event. I'm just so excited to see JDM get his shot. But I'll talk about that stuff very soon, obviously, for my predictions for that card. But anyway, that's all I've got to say on UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Figueiredo. Let me know who you guys fought. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.